What's up, everyone? How we doing? I know it has been a very, very long time. How is everyone doing on this fine evening? Let's get going, dude. I'm doing all right. We'll see how long I can. We'll see how long this goes on. Figured there's so much. I was up late, couldn't really sleep, and I was like, you know what? May as well get on here, do some live streams, see what we can talk about, because we got a lot of stuff. Yeah, Spiel Math. I'm not completely against what you're saying here. People hate me every time I talk about removing crystals from Fleet Arena, but I don't necessarily hate that approach. I think there's obviously some nuances that would need to shift with that, because you can't just like pull the rug out. But yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't be a problem. Because I mean, there was a lot. I felt like there was a lot, and I felt like a lot of it was even, stuff that. I was trying to read through it earlier. There was again, this has been a big beef of mine, as you guys know. We get so much all at once. And it's really challenging I think this Wednesday update works really well for them. But as a consumer of their products, it's too much. I need this to be broken up, because it's a lot of things all at once. Because I mean, you got obviously the Bane, Leviathan 1, Leviathan 2, and then the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. I mean, I don't really hate any of this stuff. I think it's all very important and good things that they're bringing to the game. Yeah, Droza, that's a great question. Like, are they... I can't tell you if they're bringing a new fleet. I can give you the perspective that I can't see where a new fleet is coming. Because think about that right now, our era system is characters only. So my assumption is that if we were to get a new fleet, I feel like you would have enough of a warning that it's coming, because do you know what I mean? Like, in this system, they can't really release ships as marquees without fundamentally changing Colosseum. And not saying that that's not something they're working on, I just don't know if they're ready for it. So then I think the bigger question comes, what's the plan with Fleet Arena? Are they going to, you think like the last ship we got, which was Punishing One, that was released as a marquee unit, wherever the hell it is. This was released as a marquee unit. This wasn't even that wasn't a galactic chase like other ships. So I'm not sure what the direction they're heading in is. Ship era with Ship Coliseum? I mean, maybe, right? I'd say anything is possible. The other side of that, of course, becomes, if you create a ship era in Coliseum, how does that translate with the pilots? So let's just say, for example, that they're going to release a ship for farm. Let's say we get Red 5 and it's for Farm Boy Luke, for the sake of argument. Oops, that's Commander Luke. Where the frick is Farm Boy Luke? So let's say they release Red 5 for Farm Boy Luke. So are you going to tie, in the era system, all right, Red 5's, Luke's level is going to scale with your ship. How does all of that work? It feels like there's a lot. Oh, that's right. B-Wing and Rogue One. I completely forgot those were also marquees. Yeah, so we haven't had a Galactic Chase ship in a while. Yeah, I don't know. I think going back to that still is, if you release ships in the era system, the pilot levels are going to have to scale with the ships, and I don't know how that will work given the way they've done this system. So it just feels like a bigger challenge than what they can take on at the moment. But at the same time, Leviathan has been in the game for 2.5 years, guys. Leviathan came out like 2.5 years ago. So it does feel like it's time to kind of bring that to the forefront. Ship mods. Yeah, I didn't watch Nooch, but I've heard this from a million people. I don't know, right? We don't know. I think there was a data mine that came out that kind of looked like something or other that way. Here's the problem I have with ship mods. Ships are designed to not need mods. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, if you look at ships right now in the game, they're not designed where mods would make enough of an impact. Like, even if you're like, oh, like, speed mods, that's the only thing. So it'd be the same thing. Like, just everybody's gonna mod everything for speed, and it's gonna be boring. And then if it's not speed, what's it going to be? So I feel like ships aren't set up that mods could have a legitimate impact on them because they're much more rigid, right? Like, Leviathan is meant to be the top of the meta and nothing is supposed to touch it, really. And there's some counters that happen, but you add mods, and how does that impact Leviathan versus the counter fleets? I'm not sure, right? I really am not sure on that. Yeah, Avant, a ship, I think a ship era would be diabolical, absolutely. I've heard people talk for years about, like, a ship raid, wanting there to be some sort of ship raid. I think it could be fun. I don't know how you'd pull it off and how long battles would take, is another whole thing entirely. Anything, they could release hardware for ships, they could do something, but I don't know that ships are built for that. I believe that's a big reason why the meta hasn't shifted in 2.5 years. I think CG, they've released these other ships to make, like, Home 1 better, to make Profundity better, to make Executor better, Negotiator. They've done some good things, but you think they haven't changed the meta since Leviathan. If a new fleet is on the horizon, what capital ship do you think is most likely? What ship do you want most? Man, that's a tough question. I personally would think that a Separatist ship would make the most sense. I feel like that has been the one fleet that we've not gotten a new thing since Malevolence. We've gotten a couple First Order ships. We've gotten Resistance ships, Galactic Republic, Rebels, Empire, Bounty Hunters, Sith. We've gotten all these new things. The one thing we haven't gotten in forever is Separatist ships. And I think giving us a Separatist ship would give players more reason to invest in Geonosians. You could make Count Dooku a pilot. And then, of course, I want it to be that because I'd love nothing more than to rub everyone's face in having a Relic 8 Admiral Trench. I think a Trench capital ship would just make my day. That would be just friggin' awesome. So I'd love to see a Trench capital ship. I think, and again, it's a faction that has not really had a massive update in ships since Malevolence. Every other fleet since then has been buffed significantly, and it's kind of just been left on its own. And it's still a very good fleet, and it wouldn't take much to take it to the, like, to a level of, hey, this is really good. I kind of who dunt. I kind of want the Mandalorian capital ship. Yeah, I think here's your problem, right? This is this is your problem you're gonna run into with that. Are you going to take the Razor Crest then? Is that a Mandalorian ship, or is that going to stay Bounty Hunter? You know, how do those tags work? What about Slave 1? How does, you know, there'd be a lot of ships you'd have to add. Trade Federation blockade ship, that would be sick. That would be cool. Because you have seen, like, the Trade Federation, we have seen that in, you know, the Naboo raid. I mean, it wasn't completely like a model that you fought, but the artwork was there, you know. And again, you think we normally don't see, like, the full ships in detail when you go into battle. The Ender Spire for Old Republic. Old Republic could be cool. Again, a lot. This goes back to the whole thing. We would probably see something coming because you'd have to release a bunch of stuff all at once. You'd get a lot of notice of that new fleet coming. Because they can't just be like, oh, you know, this is like, they need time to release all those things. I wouldn't mind Old Republic. I mean, I'd love other Old Republic content, and, you know, that would be fantastic. I feel like that's very much missing. Free-to-play Leviathan still takes a minimum of 17 months to get on a new account. After you get 4 million, about 8 months. Yeah, yeah, we haven't really... The impact of these bundles on free-to-play... Obviously, I'm going to say I don't think these bundles really impact the free-to-play maybe the same way you think. Because if you're the guys who really whale, they already have Leviathan anyways. You know, so I think this... Where this, I think, really impacts is your, like, mid-game free-to-play. In early game free-to-play, this is of no change to what you're going to experience. I think mid-game free-to-play, it's going to be a bigger shift. Satele coming out, it could be the start of an Old Republic revival. I don't necessarily hate that thought, Drozen. The only comment I would make there is think about, like, the Stranger. Right? That was a one-off... It seems like a one-off kind of character that we're getting, and we've had other instances like that. Think about, you know, even Starkiller, just for the sake of argument. That's the only, you know, he's the only character we got from Force Unleashed. We didn't get Juno Eclipse and Rom Coda and Proxy. We have him. And not saying that I love Starkiller. I'd love to get the other characters, but he's the only one that's really made it from that game. And we've had these other one-off type characters where we're not going to get the rest of the people that they're really featured with because that's not their intended purpose. You know, so I'm not sure that, like, we're going to get more than just Satele, given that we have Old Republic Jedi and the mission rework in game already. I think she's going to be more of that, like, one-off type unit. I would assume they would add Bo's Starfighter, Mando's Naboo fighter, one of the smaller ships that Mandos were using, and the Stolen Empire ship. It's not perfect, but you never know. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing you're, like, glossing over there would be Boba Fett, Sina Django, and Fennec and say the Slave 1 ship. You know, there's no... like, you think we've got how many versions of the Millennium Falcon, right? Like, you've got, 3 versions of Millennium Falcon in the game? Why can't we get a version of Slave 1 with, you know, if we look, we've got, like, Han's Millennium Falcon, Lando's, Rey's. Why can't we get another version of Slave 1 with, you know, Boba Fett, Sina Django, and Fennec as, you know, crew members? that could be something to think about there. But Bo's ship would be awesome because like they do have the artwork for it already in game. Whereas Garsax and the Gauntlet, like you already have this, you just have to reskin it a little bit for Bo, but it would be there. So yeah, I mean, ships could be on the horizon. I just feel like we'll see it coming a lot further away because of the era system and because of how they would have to release them. But you know what? Maybe this is something where they're just doing this because they feel it's time. Maybe it's just, you know what? Hey, it's time that we just put Leviathan out there for the masses. I don't hate that. I mean, because there's some, when you read into the bundles there, so if I read these here, you're going to get characters at Relic 7. Right? Am I reading that right? Darth Bane, Leviathan 2. Yeah, I'm looking here. Leviathan 2. What's Leviathan 1 versus Leviathan 2 difference? Each unit will be evaluated. Characters, Relic 7. I can't. The stuff is so confusing in the data mine. I'm not that great at reading it all. And again, part of that is I hadn't had the best chance to read all this earlier. But yeah, I feel like there was one pack that said you did need to have Malik and Darth Revan to purchase it. Okay, so the number 2 one, that's Relics 5. Okay, the Leviathan one is Darth Revan, Darth Malik, HK, Shorty, Bastila, upgraded Relic 7. Interesting. That's an interesting one. How about changing how we unlock Proving Grounds characters? Like if Conquest characters are 2 more years old, making like doubling shards, changing how we 7-star Executor. Yeah, I've thought this for a little bit, Spieth. If I said that, or Math, I thought about this a bit. All they need to do, instead of say Proving Grounds, is think about if you're below 4 million galactic power, you're not going to get Satil Shan, right? You're not going to get Satil in time. So what would be so much better is before your 4 million galactic power, allow you to earn some of those characters who are in Proving Grounds through your conquest, right? For however long you're below 4 million GP, you earn characters through the conquest that way. You know, and you could up those shards because they're not as valuable to the game. And that could help alleviate that process and at the same time push players to want to max crate more. Because that max crate, it's like 20 shards on easy or medium mode. I mean, it's kind of insulting. If it was instead like 100 shards of a Commander Tano or a Maul, feels a lot better and would make you want to interact to get that max crate earlier than just 4 million GP. So, because that would, again, alleviate, I think, a lot of the problems. Because and the other issue with Proving Grounds, again, I've said this in videos, it's been a while, but when I was going through my conquests for Commander Tano, Maul, all these characters that you're just getting via Proving Grounds, I was earning all the materials in Conquest along with them. Now, obviously, you say, okay, you're not going to get everything, but think about the Zetas I was getting. Think about some of the gear that we were getting through Conquest that you're just getting the shards for. It is a little bit more of an ask, and while they have alleviated some of that crunch, I think trying to continue with some of those rewards would help people. Drozen Yogurt saying Separatist Tri-Fighter is a long shot, but it would be perfect lifter for Malevolence. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, I think you just need a new capital ship other than Malevolence, because you need something. If you're thinking of capital ships in the way we want them to be, you want this to kind of take over the meta. So you'd need something else, or you'd have to completely buff this ship to hell. And I think it'd just be easier to create a new one. And require Malik at 7-star to see Levi 1. Levi 1 is characters, Levi 2 is ships. Is Levi 2 ships? I thought Levi 2 also had characters in it as well. Because the Levi 2, you're going to get... Yeah, I'm looking over here, guys. Hold on. Let me pull up my screen capture here so you guys can see that. Okay. So yeah, if you go here, you're gonna get Sith Empire Trooper, Sith Trooper, Sith Marauder, Darth Maul, Sith Assassin, Karth, and T3, all upgraded to level 7, level 85, Relic 5, and ability tier 7. So you are getting characters, and then on top of that, you're gonna get the Mark 6 TIE Dagger, Extinction, Scimitar, Sith Fighter, and Ebon Hawk upgraded to level 7 as well. So you're going to get both the ships and characters. So that one I like. And I was reading even like some of like the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon one. Where's that at? So you're going to get Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, ability tier 8, relic tier 6. So the question I have there is ability tier 8. Is that including his Omicrons? Because I think his Omicrons are on ability tier 8. You know, so it's like if you go to his... So you think his basic, that's an Omega. Like, look here, level 8 on this, it's saying level 8 here on the units. That's an Omicron here. You know, his level 8 is the leadership Zeta, and then the Omicron is a tier 9, and then down here, the level 9 is an Omicron, but the level 8, so... Like, I think you're going to... I'm not going to be surprised if you get the Omicron on the special here. You'll at least get the Omicron on the special there for Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, and then you'll get some Zetas. So I don't think that's a bad deal at all. And then for... where's the Darth Bane one? Because I was trying to think of that the same way. Darth Bane, where are you at? So that one is... here. So Darth Bane, notice they say characters ability tier 7. So that there is a difference where they're giving you more with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon comparative to Darth Bane, where Darth Bane, they are sticking to ability tier 7. So, and again, I think that's when, you know, the state of the game has changed since then, but if we go to Darth Bane, so ability tier 7 on, say, his rule of 2, that's the Zeta. Level 8 is the Omicron. Level 8 there is the Omicron. Level 8 there is the Omicron. So, and then I think you'll just have to equip, I don't know if this is a Zeta or not. I'm trying to remember all the Zetas and things that you do or don't need. But yeah, I mean, that's... you're definitely getting a little bit more Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. So I don't hate the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon or the Bane ones. Usually for the territory ones, they give you all 3 Amis, like Sign of Django and Trench. They give you all 3. GAC ones don't even give Zetas usually, like for the Malicos one. Yeah, the thing with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, I think the reason is because back in the day, when they would release, like, when characters were first being released into the game, and I'm trying to think of a good example of this. Who has an Omicron that's been around that like got an Omicron added to them? Is it Embo maybe? Yeah, so like Embo, the level 8 there was like the Zeta, and then level 9 added the Omicron, where with a lot more of the, more recent characters, the level 7 is the Zeta, and then it caps out at 8. So that's been part of the difference with the Lightspeed bundles in general. But yeah, it doesn't shock me that they give out, like, they're a little bit more kind with the Territory War ones than GAC, because Territory War just does not get as much love as Grand Arena. It's not as flashy, and now I'd argue the rewards aren't quite as useful to majority of players, given that you can scrap all your extra Kyra tech for arrow magnifiers and, more importantly, droid brains. So I think a lot of players are kind of like, doesn't really matter. Not enough of a juice isn't worth the squeeze there. Speedmat, I finished normal conquest at under 2 million with the anniversary and PAL's Ami last month. This has changed the early game. Yeah, I'll tell you, the Padawan Obi-Wan Omicron is... honestly, it's such a lifesaver, especially for players in that early part of the game where, like, I can go through, just to be, I'm not trying to, like, brag, this is just the truth. I can go through so many of these sectors and get the feats simply by just, like, tweaking a team a little bit. Like I was telling Egnards earlier today, so I can get attackers, that's easy, but like the SM-33 and Forlom and Zuckuss, I can do these at the same time with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. It's just not it's not enough of a problem for me. So it's kind of one of those where I don't really have a big issue one way or the other getting through Conquest. But for players who are early in the game where some of those things where it's inflict blind or, accuracy up or tenacity up, it does make your life so much simpler, and it's well worth it. Yeah, Territory War is just so trash. I think with Territory War, what's kind of necessary, and this is unfortunate because it's kind of like twofold. If you're going to, and I'm just going to view my guild for the sake of argument, like if you're going to change Territory War, you kind of also have to change Grand Arena. Because I'll play both sides of the fence here. My guild has been pushing harder in a Territory War. We've been investing Omicrons. If you pull that out and say, hey, Grand Arena, we're going to update that and we're going to make it better. Well, every Territory War guild is going to sit there, and I will say a lot of your whales in this game who are in Territory War guilds, like, they would get furious if GAC got a big update and Territory War did not. And I feel like that's been part of their issue, is they can't update one without updating the other, and that balance between them is a challenge. I would not be shocked if the next update to Territory Wars was maybe one of, I'm trying to see if they still have the, I would not be shocked if there was an update here where maybe, you saw Relic 10 get added here once it leaves Coliseum rewards and, moves into legacy content. I wouldn't be shocked if it goes to Territory War, much like Droid Brains and Error Magnifiers did when they were first launched. So that's something I definitely would be on the lookout for. If I make a new account, I'm getting Poe. Yeah, I salute everybody that starts new accounts. I can't manage more. I can barely manage this one. I think a lot of the top Territory War guilds view Territory War and GAC very separately. They might be pissed, but a lot would take what they can get. Yeah, I think the question would be, maybe to frame it up like this, if they added servo motors to Grand Arena, there are guys in those top guilds who would get less than someone like me, simply because I have more invested in GAC than they do. Like, I have faced plenty of guys in top Territory War guilds, and I beat them in Grand Arena because I have double their Omicrons if they're not a mega whale. So that's kind of the player base that you're targeting. But I do get your point. Like, I think we'd all just be happy if rewards got tweaked somewhere. He was my second Ami on the new account in the Return of People guild, which I just became guild leader after Math Master. Nice, man. Congrats on guild leader. He too lucky. Relic 10 doesn't even do anything, though. It's the worst upgrade. It's only good for Relic Delta. Yeah, that's a tough... Again, I've talked about this in videos. Relic 10 is tough. Because I think my problem with Relic 10 right now is I don't think anyone has a clear understanding of what Relic 10 actually does. Because we've had this ridiculous Pillars of War datacron set with, just say the Barris Cron, where mine has, like, just for perspective, if I was to go and equip this thing, I've got, this one has that, but if I go to my Barris Cron, I've got 117% health, plus 15 and 15. Like, you're not getting an accurate view of what Relic 10 actually does, because it's not, it's not helping, right? And there's not a good way to really look at that. Where I think what would be, at least for me, I'm planning to more look at Relic 10 once Pillars of War goes away, and we have a little bit more normalcy to datacrons and can better analyze where you're actually getting benefits. I do think a big part of it is just Delta. Delta is a huge part of why Relic 10 exists the way that it does. But it's not the only reason, so I don't, as much as it's the reason Relic 10 isn't a big jump in stats is because Delta also exists. I think Delta was also targeted at, players like me and others who were able to, I could make up 2 or 3 Relic levels on some of my units simply by having better mods than people. And I think Capital Games kind of wanted to end that approach because mods are something that are much more of a time sink. You can spend a lot of money on mods and still not end up with good ones due to RNG. R10 crosshair is hot stuff. JC, it's just smarter for people to go the GAC route because of crystal rewards. Then they go and make the droid brains more accessible and make territory war even more relevant. No, I completely agree. I think, Grand Arena is the second most important mode after Fleet Arena for most players. In Kyber 1, I think in Kyber 1 and Kyber 2, that's the first time where, I think that's the math is, I forget if it's one of those 2 levels, where you'll actually get more crystals from your Grand Arena if you can go 5 and 4 than you do from Fleet Arena. So for a long time, Fleet Arena is more important, and then Grand Arena from a crystal perspective does become more important. But yeah, Territory War is really, if you're just in it for droid brains, focus on Kyrotech. I hate Pillars of War. Bo-Katana's a 0% win rate against Lord Vader because of it. I really like Maz on defense to pull Balin for JMK on the back with Ezra. Yeah, I actually say my issue, I don't mind Lord Vader being what he is with Pillars of War. I've been a large benefit of that, to be perfectly honest. I more hate Pillars of War because it benefits some GLs far more than it does others. Again, Rey and Ahsoka kind of constantly benefiting from this 15 and 15 nonsense and health stats everywhere. R10 is a flex. I use the calendars to get more Relic 9s in my endgame account. Yeah, I still haven't, Egnards make crap on me all the time, but I still haven't equipped my Relic 10s. I've still got Relic 9s across, at the top of my account. I view Relic 10 as a massive luxury that I just am not ready to spend those resources yet. Maybe one day we'll get there, but right now, the corrupted signal data that CG gave me, I view as signal data that I won't have to farm the next time I need whenever they release a Relic 10 requirement. And you know what? If it's not for a while, then I might equip a Relic 10, but if it's tomorrow, then I'm ready. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of the data on Relic 10 as it continues. Because like Darth Revan, I think, is the second most common Relic 10, which I don't understand that one. I'm sorry, guys. I don't understand it. Ray gonna have the health threshold protection up DCs when Pillars of War expires. That one trips people up more than 15 and 15. Yes and no. The protection up threshold is kind of annoying, but to kind of get you through that one, the difference being a character like Barriss doesn't have as much of an impact with that kind of datacron compared to giving yourself 117 extra health and then, 60% additional health and protection on top of it. I think protection up trips some players. Others, I don't know that you'll notice enough of an impact. And to be honest, I was having a lot of success against Ray with Stranger and Maul. He's such a godsend. To be able to split off Malicos and Starkiller together is brilliant. Yeah, JC, you're saving it for it's a GL rec. I completely agree. Yeah. Oh yeah. The 15 and 15 is just so broken. I actually kind of get annoyed sometimes when the datacron sets have 15 and 15 because it's just like the obvious level 3 that you're gonna go for, like in the armor and instinct. And nothing infuriates me more than when like dark side doesn't have it and the light side has it yet again. Like, what are we doing here? And again, like, the sets almost always have the same stats now. Like, crit damage, potency, health, protection, crit chance, armor pen, tenacity. And if we go to this set, you've got, crit damage, potency, health, protection, health steal, armor pen, crit chance. So there's very similar, there's not many shifts in stats amongst the sets anymore, where we used to get a wider variation of stats. What do I think they should do about accounts with 3+ GLs in Carbonite? That's a loaded question, man. It's a great question. It's a loaded question. I think there's a couple aspects to do with Grand Arena in terms of just a reset. So one of the problems with Grand Arena is skill rating. So your skill rating, when skill rating first launched, it was purely GP based. So you were put into a skill rating based on your GP, and then from there you went up or down based on your wins and losses. That system has never reset. They've never gone back and said, hey, you know what? We're going to put you back where you belong and let this go on. I've felt for a while that would fix a lot of these problems. If every 3 months or so you reset the Grand Arena skill rating to put people back where they go, I think you'd end up in a much better system. You'd end up as well with rewarding those players who are better at GAC. Because one of the big problems that this game mode has, like, and I'm a great example of this. As long as I stay Kyber 1, I don't friggin' care. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. As long as I stay Kyber 1, I don't care. There's no benefit for me to be 37-77 compared to 36-11. Like, I'm gonna get the same rewards. So, you've, reset it every once in a while, and I think you'd see more players investing more, because it would mean more to win more. But I think I've always felt that's the simplest option. Just reset everybody's skill rating based on GP every 3 months. And that way you could kind of freshen that galactic power threshold up for those different levels, where it starts out as GP and then it moves into your win losses after that. Light side only has 15 and 15 because they need to baby Glat. Yeah. I mean, that's the right answer. But I don't know that she's the full reason, because she's also very good with the, where is it at? The 25% turn meter at start can also be, like, devastating on that team if you don't know how to beat it. That one can really, really trip people up. So it's not a fun experience. And then you said you don't need to do anything about those people in Carbonite because they don't show up. I think here's the problem with that. Sure, they're not going to show up, but you don't get to have fun playing GAC. Like, the whole purpose of playing Grand Arena is to have fun. And you're not having fun, you know? And I've been in plenty of situations where I've been the smallest account in a bracket, and you look through your opponent's history and they do one attack and forfeit, one attack and forfeit, one attack and forfeit, one attack and forfeit. And then against me, they full clear because I'm an easy target. So there's plenty of guys in Carbonite who that's their strategy, is I'm only going to participate enough that every once in a while someone's going to get slaughtered. And otherwise, I'm going to do, you know, nothing. So I think you do something and just force them into a higher level of GAC for a bit, but they're going to take losses. And I think that fixes a lot of the problems that you see across the game. That's a good question, though. I like that question. There was a whole... I don't know if you missed the... All of us content creators kind of gave our thoughts on that, of, like, ways to make GAC better. I'd even said, like, one of my frustrations is the way that it doesn't matter if you full clear your opponent or not in terms of score. So if you score 2,077, your opponent scored 2,078, you lose, and you're going to lose all the skill rating, and you're going to get a massive dock and crystals and other rewards. To me, that doesn't make sense compared to a person who scored 60 points or 10 points, right? They get the same as you for losing by a point, and trying to reward more of the actual result rather than just, okay, did you win or did you lose? And I understand that can be harder, but sometimes I think that black and white attitude that Capital Games has with certain game modes is very damaging to the player, very damaging to player participation. Yeah, reset it yearly so they're rewarded longer. Yeah, I mean, you have to take it into, like, both ways there. If you're, say, gonna get put into Kyber 4, but you're really a Kyber 2 player, when you get reset, you're gonna go on a massive win streak. So net, it's probably pretty similar, where maybe you go 9-0 your first round and then 7-2 the next round. Whereas in Kyber 2, you're going 5-4, 4-5. You're on much greater win streaks, so you're getting more crystals that you probably deserve, and then eventually getting to where you belong. But yeah, something, it would be nice to have a reset every once in a while, or something to, alleviate some of those problems. And I'd even argue part of the issue is the players at the top of the bug. If you ever look at, like, the top guys in GAC, some of their Grand Arena matches are ridiculous because they get a score bug. Yes, they have been showing up more often. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It's also probably players who are getting burnt out and just join GAC to join GAC. Allie Gal, good to see you too. Good to see you too. We're trying to see how long we can go here before I start just, like, falling asleep on stream tonight. Figure it all out from there. Apologize, I was doing all my TB and Conquest earlier. I wasn't planning to hop on stream, guys, but unlike other people who stream their territory battles and drop missions, like Egnard's, we were not. We were very successful this phase. We crushed it. Even giving up some key operations. But I'm just, it's who I am. Oh, How's the family? They are, they're good. It's definitely been, the 3 is definitely a lot. It's been a big transition. It's been a big transition for everyone. I now understand the parents who will call their kids the wrong names because I do it all the time. But it's good. You're doing the new journey. Oh, the new journey quest. That's right. I should continue doing those. What do I need to do? Win with Rogue One in my squad. Ugh. All right. Well, that's easy enough. Boom. Okay. Just gotta spam this. Hey, Phil, hear me out. Double Ami, R9, Bad Batch 2 team is the best fun you'll have in TB. Yeah, I'm not trying to spend any more territory battle. I have my Enoch Omicron, and that's more than enough territory battle Omicron investment. This is my thing with investing in territory battle Omicrons is between teams like Ahsoka, Hondo, the clones, characters like Darkseid, Rey, even the Stranger. Queen Amidala's team. They've released a lot of characters into the game that are not in operations, that are very good in TB, that you don't need to invest in the Omicrons to get your waves done. Only if I lose to Agnards again. Listen, we did lose the wave battle. You do need to ask him that he had easier planets than we did. If he was in my guild, he would not have scored the same amount of waves, but that's a topic for another day. It would be interesting. I think he still would have me because he's got more Relic 9s than I do. But, it could potentially be closer. If I did some stupid things, I could get a few more Relic 9s. But it would be a big challenge. I'd also have to rearrange the operations I give up, because I give up all of my GL ships. In my guild, we rely on the officers to give up all your GL ships, so I had to do offense up. Really? Ugh. I don't want to do this 100 times offense up. I know there's cheeses to this, but there's gotta be. I'll figure out a way. I'm not trying to rush through that. That's insane. I know what I want to do. Should just spam a node in Conquest with a Imperial Troopers. TV Omicrons are good for new accounts when you get to Rogue. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of benefit to territory battle Omicrons, and especially to save time. Veer's Troopers in R2. Here's the problem, guys. Right? Here's the problem. I get what you're saying. Right? But I don't know. I'm going to see how many I can get, because I have a feeling I'm just going to kill them way too quickly. Maybe I'll get more than I was thinking. Does anybody else give offense up in this? How many will I get? All right, I just can't use AoE abilities. Maybe I'll get more. I was thinking, okay, you know what? I won't use AoEs. I should get this done, right? I was thinking about that. Okay, yeah. All right, I was being an idiot. 36. Okay, that's better. That's better. Offense up, yeah. Basic all the way though. Yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, if I normally just press auto on these things and hope I get stuff, but I can't do that here because Piet would just like decimate this entire team in one go. All right, that works. We're just trying to not press buttons. We're just trying to not press buttons, guys. That's all we're trying to do here. If I can not press buttons, it's a good day. Okay. I think this should get me the feet, and then I'll get my Zetas on Farm Boy Luke. There we go. All right, guys. This is my favorite. I get to do, or is that Leia? Oh, gosh. 50 stormtroopers. That's ridiculous. All right, well, we can dismantle that one. Don't need that for anything. 50 stormtroopers. Ugh. I mean, I think you can do that in the, in this, can't you? I feel like you can do this. Just depends how many stormtroopers you get. Seriously? Like Relic Delta that couldn't kill a Gear 8 with that? Just goes to show you how ridiculous these events were back in the day. What am I doing? Yeah, I don't try to spend energy to do these feats, guys. That's my goal, is to not spend energy on these feats. Because half the time I'm trying not to do any refreshes or anything else. So if I can do it just doing missions like this, I'm a happy man. CLS tier 4 is better than this one. I'll have to try that. So what are my thoughts on the Lightspeed bundles? Yeah, Allie, we were talking about this. I'm pretty okay with the bundles. Levi's been out for 2.5 years. Like, I think mid-game free-to-play, this is a big deal. But, like, early-game free-to-play, guys can wail on that anyways. So I don't think that was a larger, like, concern. You know, does it... It's going to suck for some players, but I think for others, it's not a big deal. It'll be fine. You know, everybody can kind of move on. I think this has kind of been something that's been a long time coming, you know, that we've needed. You know, I feel like this is almost like a necessary Lightspeed bundle at this point. Just because I don't know what other fleets we're going to get at this point. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking about that. Like, I just don't know. We don't really know what their plan is, so I have a feeling they're just trying to cash in. Which isn't the worst. I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world. Ow, Pip. I don't know if you guys can see. You can't see it off screen. My cat was, like, wanting me to pet him and then just started, like, biting me. Because that's what he is. You see it muddying up Fleet Arena with everyone having Levi. Now you'll drop further, making it more annoying. I mean, it is what it is. You know, I think what'll end up happening, this is what I see more as the problem. You're going to get a bunch of people get their Levi. They're going to get a Relic 10 Darth Revan. They're going to spend their entire day battling to stay in first place. and then they're going to fall overnight when they go to sleep, and they're going to freak out and complain and talk about how unfair this is because they just didn't do their research. So, like, I don't think this is as big of a problem. I think answer, obviously, that I've always had is just take crystals out of Fleet Arena and you solve this issue. Like, honestly, you know, just get rid of it at this point. It doesn't matter. Levi's good enough to wail on simply for how good it is in GAC if your opponent doesn't have it. If your opponent does, then it doesn't matter. And it's of no concern. I mean, I can tell you already, like, I'm falling more in Fleet Arena now simply because more people have gotten it for how long it's been in the game. Normally there's another meta fleet that I would have had 7-star for a year and a half now. You know, that it is what it is. Like, I think it's just the natural course of this game. Hopefully they figure out a way to either make Fleet Arena useful again or get rid of it. You kidding me? 2 stormtroopers? Really? 2 stormtroopers? What do you guys think of the... I was looking at the... I'm curious on how many people will wail on the Dark Trooper Moff Gideon versus Bane, because I feel like the one thing I would say is I feel like a lot of players, if you had a chance at unlocking Bane, you did it. You know, like, I feel like Bane was just that character that everybody got. So I think it's really good for some players, but, like, I know a lot of people who went all out in that conquest and did a lot of other things just to get Bane. I think that Dark Trooper Moff Gideon pack is going to be one that might get slept on. I think it's going to be really, really good. Oh, special Omega offer, guys. I really need more Omegas. Whew, man, know how to target the ads. 100 enemies with Rebel fighters. Really? Really? What can I do here? The Bane one, I mean, it's a great one. The thing I'm saying though is that I feel like Bane was the most common, like, conquest unit that people got. Like, I feel like everybody went hard thinking he was that good. So I think a lot of people will wail on him, but I feel the population of players who need Bane is actually a lot smaller compared to the population of players who need Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. I don't have Levi, but I use my Executor to climb through them every day to get like 375, 400 because of the counter. I saw you use in a GAC vid one day, so thanks for that. Yeah, I mean, it's probably been a while since I've done a Leviathan counter, to be honest. I just do the mirror. Thrawn event, Phoenix without Hera lead. Really? Nobody else has that Rebel Fighter tag, so it's just Captain Rex. Okay, that works. Okay, do that. Yep. Okay. Okay. It's a little bit manual, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Put Hera on team. Oh, okay. Put Hera on lead, just not in team. And then he can get more kills, yeah. I get ya. I get ya. Okay, that's a good job on that. That was stupid, Phil. Why did I do that? I was just gonna kill somebody. Alright, we got 16. That's not terrible. It's not great. It's not terrible. Let's get rid of Sabine. You were killing too many people. Okay, there's AoE. Just do the AoE there. That works. All right, that works. AoE. That works. Relic Delta finally putting in work. Yeah, this is the one time where Relic Delta is good. I remember when this event was challenging. Yeah, I remember when this event first came out. Oh, want to talk about, you know, aging myself. Yeah, when this event first came out, oh, it was not fun back in the day. Okay. Oh, darn it. All right, we got more kills that time. We did get more kills that time. Yeah, now it's a free with the I mean, I can remember when this was the first time I felt that the game had gone cash grab. Like this, I remember when this event first came out, I was like, holy cash grab, because it was. I mean, it was straight up cash grab material. Because it was like Phoenix was announced, and then you like needed them the next day. It was so. I'll never forget that. That was such a crazy time. But no, I mean, I think, I mean, as much as we love to joke about like Lightspeed tokens and stuff, like this game is in such a better position for new players. Like, I cannot put into words how nice that is. You gotta be joking me, really? Really? The one guy I need out of this. Come on. Kill him, thank you. Good job. Good job. $58. We're slowly making progress. Gosh, this is misery. This is worse than having to actually play the event. See, this is where they just need to give me like a, okay, Phil, your account is good enough, you know, pass go, collect $200. That's all I need. Okay, reduce my cooldown. AoE, everybody. I remember when a lot of events were hard in this game, and now they're all a joke. I remember when my account had like it was like a 78% likelihood that I had cheated on the Ewok event. When that bot used to exist where it would tell you like, hey, how likely is it that you cheated on this event? And I think my my Ewok tier was like in the 90%. Boom. Okay. Where are we at? 82. All right. We get it this next time, and I can press auto. 9 times is nothing. I remember like remodding my roster like 6 times over to get this done with like gear 7s. Okay, call you. I needed 18. How many characters here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Okay. Let's just get our kills here, because I'd probably end up 1 short. Live in the past for requirements. Nah, I mean, I think this game, it's in a much better spot with the way events are, because it was ridiculous for like the Hondo tier of the the Hondo tier of the Afra event is just a great example of where like we need to stop being ridiculous, because there's no real skill involved with that. It's just, did you get lucky? So we're in a much better spot than what it is now. Obviously there's still some ridiculous events, but like, it's good that things have changed, because otherwise, yeah. All right, there we go. That's all the character quests. So now I finally get my Farm Boy Luke Zetas. Look at that, guys. Woohoo! Yeah. And this is my favorite part. I don't know if you guys... I call this the Walk of Shame. Like, my entire guild is going to get notified that I will have used a Lightspeed token here. At least it should. Ah, that's sad. Normally, it should, like, go in there and be like, Fat Phil upgraded... Look, yeah, there it is. You get, like, the Walk of Shame whenever you use a Lightspeed token, where it lets everybody know that you used it. And it's like, okay, guys, come on. Like, I just got Zetas. Like, let's chill out. I overgeared Phoenix when they, Phoenix have turned into a great team. I think Delta has been a bit unkind to them because they were really solid at, like, Relic 3 and could still kill a lot of stuff. And now they just, between the damage penalty they get from assists from Captain Rex and then Delta, it just becomes a nightmare with them. It is sad, because I do miss some of the game pre-Delta where teams worked because of the mechanics rather than just a straight like stat check. No one cares about Farm Boy Luke now. We're gonna care about Farm Boy Luke when we need him to pilot Red 5. I mean, to be fair, you need the characters for CLS. Unlocking CLS is kind of a big deal. I think the tokens are good. I don't think they're like unwarranted. And I think a character like Farm Boy Luke, if you're someone that was interacting with the Eris system, if you have Princess Leia, you just got one of the characters you need to use with Stormtrooper Luke, and then you get a Farm Boy at, Relic whatever. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm not saying it's like the best team, but it at least gives people a starting point. That's better than nothing. So I don't hate that, I don't hate that approach. It's all happening. But they did give out they're also going to give out some very good Lightspeed tokens. Like, some of these you're like, all right, this sucks. But, like, they're giving out the Mando one. They gave out all the Inquisitors. Queel and like IG-11, Cara Dune, like some of those are really, really solid. They're gonna hand out to you. So like I'm very positive about these because they are helping people, and they're giving Zetas, which for all of you guys who cried for years about not having Zetas for your, bundles, here you go. There's all the Zetas you need. What else you guys got? I got a few more minutes in me before I am ready to call it a night, take my contacts out, and go to bed. It is 12:38. I don't know if so. I am like legally blind without contacts or glasses. So like when you guys see me do this, it's because I'm trying to read, because especially this time at night, like my contacts get blurry and my vision's so bad, so I gotta like scooch in to see what you guys are saying. They're giving out CLS at the end. Yeah, the CLS one. CLS is awesome. That is such a great character. He's one of my all-time favorite characters in this game. I would say his team is one that I probably have one of the best understandings of, because of how often I was using them to do just absolutely ludicrous things that you should not be using CLS for. I very much love that team. It's hard to put into words how much I love that team, actually. It pains me that I don't get to use them like I used to. But they just have, unfortunately, they really haven't stood the test of time due to relying on turn meter mechanics, exposed damage. Their stats really just don't hold up anymore. It's kind of a shame. It would be nice if they would get more of those things, but, hope in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first. Yeah, maybe that got a little bit too dark there, but yeah. No, yeah, you care more about Stormtrooper Han, Princess Leia Zetas because, no, yeah, that's a fair point. I think that's great. But like you got to think about 5v5 as well. You're going to have other characters. Which journey guide is worth more to grind? Bo-Katan, Jar Jar, or Grand Inquisitor? I think it depends on your goal. Bo-Katan is really solid. I'd lean more towards Grand Inquisitor if your guild is getting enough Reva shards. And I'd lean more towards Bo-Katan if your guild is getting to Mandalore. I think PvP, I might give I don't even know if I could give a slight edge to Bo. They do different things. Each of them does different things. Each of them poses different problems. Bo might be slightly better in Grand Arena because, she does give out some extra stuff. But in other game modes, I would edge the Inquisitors. That they can do a lot more for you. So it just kind of depends. The thing with Bo-Katan, doesn't take a lot to get her comparatively. And once you have her, you have her. You got to get Grand Inquisitor. Then you got to increase everybody's relic levels. Then you got to get Reva on top of that. There's a lot more that goes into Inquisitors. But they are solid. Yeah, Bo and Jar Jar, they can definitely, there's some really good things they can do. I normally still lean towards Inquisitors because I think as long as your guild is getting Reva shards. If you're not getting Reva shards, then it's not, Grand Inquisitor himself isn't that great comparative to Bo or even just like Gungans. But I normally edge Inquisitors slightly. Might be a bit biased, but I think they do a lot more than people realize. I think people have underestimated Inquisitors for a long time. Very similar to Lord Vader, just bad press. You've got the biggest content creator in SWGOH shitting on Lord Vader and Inquisitors all the time. I mean, everybody buys in, right? Sorry, that might have been too harsh on Arnold, but probably the truth, right? So yeah, I think if you picked one of those, I would say the one I probably wouldn't go for, if I'm honest, is Jar Jar. As much as I do enjoy Gungans, the other two have greater purposes. One being Mandalore, the other one being Riva. Can't go wrong right now. Speedman, good night, man. Good to see you. Glad you guys kind of hopped on for a bit here. It's pretty cool. Any other burning questions you guys have? I'll give us 3 more minutes here, 2 more minutes, and then I'm gonna call it a night and try to get a little bit of sleep before children wake me up at 4 a.m. screaming for snacks. Because that's the life of a parent right now, is providing snacks at all hours of the night. Our 3-year-old, she woke up the other night at 1 a.m. screaming she needed a snack. So I go down, I grabbed her a snack. She took 1 bite, and then I woke up to her still holding the snack at like 6 a.m. And I'm like, why did I need to grab this? But it put her to sleep. That 1 bite was enough to solve her hunger. But you guys got anything else? Otherwise, I mean, this has been just fun kind of hanging out with you all, talking a little bit. Again, I don't know how often I'll get to do streams and stuff, but it was nice seeing everybody. A lot of exciting stuff going on. I think there's a lot of exciting stuff. I would not be put out by these bundles. I would not be put out by the, some of the changes. It may seem like it's going to be, the game's constantly evolving, but I have some faith in Capital Games that they seem to have a direction they want the game to shift in. And I feel that with the tokens and bundles and some of these other areas, they have made progress that is good. So I appreciate that if we can continue to kind of give them a little bit of benefit of doubt that they know what they're doing, I think we'll all have a much better time playing this game. Allie, it sounds good that you're going to Relic 10 Wampa. I told Agnards that I'm like, at this point, just doing it just to piss everybody off that I'm not going to Relic 10 Wampa. But I'll leave you all with that. Again, Discord is somewhere in a link. It's been a while, but yeah, it's somewhere in a link. So if you're not in the Discord, want to join, go ahead, join the Discord. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you in the next